Right, indices. So suppose we have x to the a. Now we call x the base and a is called the power. So this x over here, so we call that the base, so that's called the base. And this a is known as the power. So remember, base x, power a. Now, so exactly what I wrote down over here. So we call x the base and we call a the power. So for example, 2 to the power 2. So 2, this 2 over here, so this 2 is known as the base. Whereas this 2 over here, that is called the power. Okay, so anything to the power of a 2, so we call that squared. So you could also say this is 2 squared. So anything, so it could be anything. So let me take a different colored pen. So anything to the power 2, you would say that term squared. So anything here to the power 2, so that would be read out as that term squared. Okay, so if you got something to the power 3, any term to the power 3 is that term cubed. Okay, so some other useful things to know. Now let me go back to my blue coloured pen. So back to these examples. So for number 2, 5 to the power 3, or 5, remember power 3 means cubed, so you could say this as 5 cubed. Now the 5, remember, this 5 is the base, and this 3 is the power. So going back to number 1, so remember the term to the power 2, so you could read this as 2 squared. This term to the power 3, you would read this as 5 cubed, or 5 to the power 3. Okay, one more example. 6 to the power minus 1. So the 6 over here is our base. The minus 1 over here, that is our power. Okay, so let me go back to red and let me keep these extra notes encapsulated in red. Right, now remember, any term to the power 0 is 1. So anything to the power 0 is 1. So let's go through this. 2 to the power 0, 1. 3 to the power 0, 1. 5 to the power 0, 1. 10 to the power 0, 1. Let's have some more examples. 7 to the power 0, 1. Okay, 100 to the power 0, 1. Even 1000 to the power 0, that is 1. So remember, any term to the power of 0, 1. So remember that. So something useful for the future, useful for GCSE and A-level. Now, there's another fact here. So another fact. Now, a term to the power minus n. So if we have x to the power minus n, that is the same as 1 over x to the power plus n. Another important fact. So let me encapsulate that in red also. So let's have some examples to explain this. So 2 to the power minus 1, that is the same as 1 over, so it's always 1 over 2 to the power, and we change that minus 1 to a plus 1. Okay, so it's 1 over 2 to the power plus 1, and 2 to the power plus 1 is 2, so we have 1 over 2. Okay, another example. 3 to the power minus 2. So 3 to the power minus 2 is the same as 1 over, so it's 1 over 3 to the power. That minus 2 now is a plus 2, so it's 1 over 3 to the power plus 2. 3 to the power plus 2 is, so remember 3 to the power plus 2 is 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So it's 1 over 9. Okay. Another example. 5 to the power minus 3. So remember, 5 to the power minus 3 is 1 over. So it's 1 over 5 to the power. Minus 3 turns into plus 3. And 5 to the power plus 3 is 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, 125. So it's going to be 1 over 125. Another example. 10 to the power minus 2 is the same as 1 over 10 to the power. Minus 2 turns into plus 2. And remember, 10 to the power plus 2 is 10 times 10. 10 times 10, 100. So it's going to be 1 divided by 10 to the power 2, or 10 squared, 100. Now, rules for indices. When multiplying two terms having the same base, we add the powers. So remember, we can only multiply two terms of the same base. Okay? And if we multiply two terms of the same base, all we do is we add the powers. So for example, 2 to the power 2 times 2 to the power 5. Now I've got two terms here and the base numbers are the same. The base numbers are both 2. So I'm going to say that the bases are the same. And remember, only if the bases are the same, we add the powers. So it's going to be 2 to the power 2 plus 5, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So it's 2 to the power 7, and you could just as well calculate that. So remember, 2 to the power 7, that is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2 times another 2. Okay? Right, another example. 4 to the power 3, or 4 cubed times 4 to the power minus 5. So once again, the bases are the same. So the bases are the same here. I've got a base of 4. So we add the powers when we multiply. So it's going to be 3 plus minus 5, or 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is minus 2. And remember from earlier, 4 to the power minus 2. So if you've got a negative power, that is the same as 1 divided by 4 to the power. Minus 2 turns into plus 2. And we can simplify this. That's the same as 1 over 4 squared, or 4 to the power 2. That is 4 times 4, which is 16. So that's the same as 1 over 16. Let's have a go at this one. 5 to the power 6 times 5 to the power minus 1. So once again, the base numbers are the same. So the bases are indeed the same. So if the bases are the same, and when we multiply, we add the powers. So that is the same as 5 to the power 6 plus minus 1, or 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1 is a power of 5. So it's the same as 5 to the power 5, and I'm sure you can calculate that. Right. Questions for you to do. Example 1. Simplify the following. Try this one. Try number 1, 2 and 3, and I'll give you the answers very soon. Right, for number 1, we're multiplying. Are the bases the same? So let's check. I've got a base of 3 here. I've got a base of 3 here. The bases are the same. So we add the powers. So that is equal to 3 to the power minus 1 plus minus 2. Minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. And remember, we can simplify this more. So that's the same as, so I've got a negative power, so it's 1 over 3 to the power. Negative 3 turns into positive 3, so it's 1 over 3 cubed. And that is the same as 1 over, and remember, 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3, 27. So that's the same as 1 over 27. Now for this one. 6 to the power 5 times 6 to the power minus 4. So the bases are the same. And we're multiplying. So it's going to be 6 to the power. Adds the powers. 5 plus minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And 6 to the power 1 is simply 6. Let's try number 3. Are the bases the same? Base of 7 here, base of 7 there. They are the same. So we're multiplying, so let's add the powers. Minus 5 plus minus 1, minus 5 minus 1 is minus 6. And I have a negative power, let's make it positive. So whenever you've got a negative power, it's 1 over 7 to the power minus 6 turns into plus 6, and I'm sure that you can work that out. Now, try 4, 5 and 6, and then I'll give you the answer shortly. Right, for question number 4. So are the bases the same? Let's check. Base of 9 here, base of 9 here. The bases are the same, and we're multiplying. So we're going to have 9 to the power. Let's add the powers. Minus 1 plus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. And remember, any number to the power 0 is 1. Next one. Are the bases the same? Base of 10 here, base of 10 here. The bases are the same, so we're going to have 10 to the power, and we're multiplying, and the bases are the same. Let's add powers. 3 plus 3 is 6, and 10 to the power 6 is the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 and 6 zeros, a million. Let's try this one, number 5. 2 to the power 5 times 2 to the power minus 3. Are the bases the same? So the bases are the same. I've got a base of 2. So we're multiplying. So we'll have 2 to the power. Let's add powers then. 5 plus minus 3, 2. And 2 to the power 2, or 2 squared, 4. Now, try number 7, and I'll give you the answer shortly. Let's have a look at number 7. 8 to the power 0 times 8 to the power minus 3. So are the bases the same? So I have a base of 8 for both of these terms. So the bases are indeed the same. And we're multiplying, so we'll have 8 to the power. Since we're multiplying, since the bases are the same, let's add powers. 0 plus minus 3 is minus 3. And 8 to the power of minus 3, I've got a negative power. So that's the same as 1 over 8 to the power plus 3. And remember, we can simplify this. So 8 to the power 3, or 8 cubed, is 8 times 8 times 8. So 8 times 8, that is 64. And 64 times 8, so we can certainly do that. So let's do that calculation. 8 times 4 is 32. That 2 goes there. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 plus 3, 48, 49, 50, 51, 512. So let's use the answer here. It's going to be 1 divided by 8 cubed, 512. So that should be the answer to question number 7. Right, let's have a look at the other rule, division. When dividing two terms having the same base, we subtract powers. So you can either write your division symbol like this, or you can write your division symbol like this. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. Example 1. 2 to the power 2 divided by 2 to the power 5. So remember, when you divide terms, you're dividing two terms having the same base. So I've got a base of 2 here, a base of 2 here. The bases are the same, and we're dividing, so we need to subtract the powers. So it's going to be 2 to the power 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is minus 3. And remember, when you got a negative power, that's the same as 1 over 2 to the power. Minus 3 turns into plus 3. And 2 to the power of plus 3 is 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Now, looking at this example over here, example number 1, you could also write this. So you can write this either using the division symbol like this, or you can write this as 2 to the power 2 divided by 2 to the power 5. So you can also have it in this form. This is another way of writing divide. Okay, and again, you're dividing two terms having the same base. The base is 2, so we subtract powers. So it's 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is minus 3. 2 to the power minus 3 is the same as 1 over 2 to the power plus 3, which is 1 over 8. So you can either write your division sign like this or like this. They're both the same. Now, let's have a look at the next example. 4 to the power 3 divided by 4 to the power 5. Now, the base terms are the same. I've got a base of 4 for both terms. The bases are indeed the same. So the bases are the same. We need to subtract the powers. So it's going to be 4 to the power 3 take away 5. 3 take away 5 is minus 2 power. And remember, we can go one stage more. We got a negative power. 4 to the power minus 2 is 1 divided by 4 to the power. Minus 2 turns to plus 2. And 4 to the power plus 2 is 16. 4 times 4, 16. Let's have a go at one more. 5 to the power 6 divided by 5 to the power 2. So the base numbers are 5. The base terms are the same. And we're dividing. So when we're dividing, subtract powers. That is the same as 5 to the power 6 take away 2. 6 take away 2 is 4. Now, over to you. Try 1, 2 and 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and let's have a look at 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'll give you the answer shortly. Right, for the first one, are the base terms the same? Indeed they are. I've got a base of 3 here, base of 3 here. The bases are the same. We're dividing, so remember we subtract powers. So it's going to be 3 to the power minus 1 minus 2. Minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. And I've got a negative power, so I can write 1 over 3 to the power. Minus 3 turns into plus 3. And I can simplify more. 3 to the power 3. Remember, 3 to the power 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3, 27. So I can write this as 1 over 27. Next one. Are the bases the same? So I've got a base of 6 on both for both terms. So bases are the same. So we'll have 6. We're dividing, subtract powers. 5 take away 4 rather is 1. So 5 take away 4 is 1. 6 to the power 1, 6. Next one. Are the bases the same? Base 7 here, base 7 here. The bases are indeed the same. So it's 7. And we're dividing, let's subtract powers. Minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6. And negative power, we can make that positive. That's the same as 1 over 7 to the power minus 6 is a plus 6. Next one. Are the bases the same? Base 9 here, base 9 here. The bases are indeed the same. Let's subtract powers, so we've got a divide sign. So it's 9 to the power minus 1 minus 3. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. And we can make that power positive. That's the same as 1 over 9 to the power minus 4 is now plus 4. Have a go at these 3. See how you go. Take your time. Double check your answer. And I'll give you the answers to these shortly. Right. Let's check whether the bases are the same. Base 10 here. Base 10 here. The bases are the same. So we'll have 10. And we're dividing. Let's subtract powers. 3 minus 3 is 0. And remember, do not forget, any term to the power 0, 1. Let's check the next one. Base 2 here, base 2 here. The bases are the same. And we're dividing. Let's subtract powers. Minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5. And I've got a negative power. Let's go one more stage. That's the same as 1 over 2 to the power minus 5 becomes a plus 5. Let's go over the last one. Are the bases the same? Base 8 here, base 8 here. The bases are the same. So we're going to have 8 to the power. We're dividing, subtract powers. 0 minus minus 2. 0 minus minus 2 is 2. And 8 to the power 2, 64. Okay, so with this one, we have 0 minus, and we're having a minus 2. So 0 minus minus 2. Minus and a minus is a plus. So we're going to have 0 plus 2. And 0 plus 2 is this 2 here. Okay, let me give you some more notes on that. So minus and a minus together, and brackets means multiply. So minus and a minus is a plus. And if you're multiplying plus with another plus, that is a plus. If you're multiplying a minus number with a plus number, that's a minus number. And if you're multiplying a plus by a minus, the answer is minus. And brackets, remember, means multiply. So whenever you have a bracket, think about multiply. Right, so that is it for this lesson.